because we get a lot of referrals without even the doctor stating what exactly is the diagnosis. It is because that we are very less aware of these things, of these very, very common symptoms which can happen in the family when patients are coming regularly with this. If we know the basic pathology, it is very difficult. It is not very difficult to treat at that level only, because as you can see, majority of the treatment is rest. If you know the pathology, rest, little bit of physiotherapy, analgesics, and all that. And then when the first stage is patient is not responding, then if the patient can be referred to us, we can go in for definitive treatment like you saw. We can infiltrate, we can do surgeries. So those are the second and third stage treatments that can be done for these patients. Now, all of us, nearly all of us, except for the postgraduate trainee, we are all cross middle age, and it is important that we know exactly how to prevent these things these symptoms to appear in us. What we can do to on a daily basis so that we don't have these symptoms. We don't develop frozen shoulder. What we can do when we just have the first inkling of a developing penis elbow, not allow things to linger. These are some of the things which is very, very critical. And for this I have included Dr. Mr. Shobhik Bhattacharya, who is the physiotherapist here. He will tell us in reference to whatever subject that has been discussed here, ways to prevent it, and then ways how once you have developed the issues, what you can do through exercises to control the symptoms. Shobhik, please.
Thank you, sir. First of all, very good morning to our respected CMG, MD, and all the CHTs and all other expertise team of our Central Hospital Guardians. Now, before I go to my topic on rehab of all the musculoskeletal problems that we face in our clinical practice, I like to focus a bit. I would like to focus a bit on some of the preventive measures that mostly occur due to the sedentary lifestyle and muscular weakness. Further, faulty posture and improper working positions can linger the symptoms. So, how to prevent the muscular weakness and faulty postures? We have to do regular active range of motion exercises in form of weight trainings with resistance or without resistance. But the exercise should be done with by maintaining a proper protocol, because overactivity and overdoing of the exercises can cause fatigue spasms of the muscles. Then, of course, healthy lifestyles with proper intake of diet and workouts in form of swimming and brisk walking is incorporated. And most important, the postural awareness and correct ergonomic patterns should be induced during the work culture of the subject.
थोड़ा पेन पॉइंटर है पॉइंटर से दिखा के एक्सप्लेन करो। पॉइंटर है ऊपर में।
Now, among all the musculoskeletal problems involving the upper limb, day-to-day basis, we came across some of the few very common problems, mainly involving the shoulders. Those are frozen shoulder, tendinitis of rotator cuff, mainly involving the supraspinatus muscle, and injury to rotator cuff. Why I am discussing these three conditions? Because not only these are the most commonest problems to occur in the upper limb, but these are the most distressing one also, because all these three problems creates a larger impact on the activity of daily life of the individual patients. So after being clinically diagnosed by the orthopedic team of our hospital, the patients come to our department with pain. Pain is the first complaint of the patient, followed by stiffness and lack of range of motion. Initially, the patient tells that overhead activity is the main problem of them, and mainly the main patient complains the removing of their t-shirt and t-shirt is a big problem for them, and for the female combing their hair is a big problem. Later, reaching the back becomes a big tough task for the patient. So the goal when the patient come to our department, the initial goal will be to relieve the pain. Then after the pain relief, we will go to improve the shoulder mobility by stretching exercises. Then gradual to prevent the further implications, we will go for strengthening exercises and postural corrections, re-education exercises, and definitely chances of prevention. The implications of bad posture and to prevent that, I will come and will discuss in later in my presentation today. So how will I will manage the pain? The pain which is characterized mainly during the rest is responds very well to ice therapy. When the pain is a bit acute and chronic, the moisture is introduced, and here during the painful stage, the electrotherapy plays an important role in form of ultrasound therapy, transcutaneous electrical stimulation, and shockwave therapy.
What is the principle of ice therapy? How ice acts?
Sir, ice creates a vasoconstriction effect on the local nerves and muscles, and by that it decreases the pain.
You don't cause any damage.
No, sir. Then during the painful stage, we can incorporate some basic exercises in form of shoulder swinging and pendular exercises. These exercises helps to prevent the pain, relaxes the muscles, and further it improves the range of motion. And followed by these pendular exercises, we should start with active range of motion exercises, wheel and pulley exercises. But I would like to mention over here that wheel exercise is strictly contraindicated in acute tendinitis or rotator cuff injury, where the symptoms further aggravate with wheel exercises. These are the basics form of pendular exercises and shoulder swinging exercises.
Explain it.
Sir,
Pen drive. Yes.
So here the patient is standing, he will bend a bit forward. He will, in this picture, the patient's left arm is affected. So he will bend his trunk a bit forward and will rotate his arm sideways in a swinging way. Demonstrate. Sir, he will bend a bit forward. He will suppose this arm is affected. He will do a swinging motion to and fro. He can do it diagonal also, and he can do circular motion and anti-circular motion also. And followed by the exercises, patient should go for active range of motion exercises of the shoulders in form of flexion, extension, abduction, if the range permits and the pain permits. Once the pain is settled down a bit, then we gradually introduce stretching exercises program. First of all, our emphasis will be on the anterior capsule, because it is the anterior capsule tightness that cause maximum problem for the patient, because this capsule tightness restricts the patient from doing his overhead activities, and sideways elevation also, and finally rotation also. So these are some of the procedures of stretching the anterior capsule. The patient can do itself at the in form of home exercise program also. In this exercise, the patient is lying supine. He is just keeping his hand hanging from the bed, and he will experience a certain stretch kind of pain on the anterior half of the shoulders. When he will feel the pain, he will hold that positions for 30 seconds, and gradually he will repeat it for 10 to 15 times. The next procedure is wall sliding. In this case, the patient having a left shoulder pain, he will slide his hand along the wall, and the point where he experiences the pain, he will keep the hand static over there, and he will move his shoulders to the opposite side. He will experience a pain on the anterior half of the capsule, and he have to hold it there for 30 seconds. And then he can repeat it, that procedure 10 to 15 times, twice or thrice a day. After stretching the anterior capsule, our leg emphasis will be on the inferior capsule. Inferior capsule tightness can also cause difficulty in elevation and rotation of the arm. So this is a very easy procedure by which the individual patient can do the inferior capsule stretching at home, himself or herself. He will just sit on the side of a couch or a sofa, which is a bit same height of his shoulder, and he will gradually slide the hand sideways and anteriorly through that couch. By that, he will experience a bit tightness on the inferior region of the capsule, and when he will feel that tightness or the pain, he will hold that particular position for 30 to 60 seconds and repeat it 10 times. Then next comes the posterior capsule. The posterior capsule stretching will markedly improve the range of internal rotation of the patient, and it is done in standing or sitting posture. If the left arm is affected, the patient will just pull the arm opposite to the unaffected shoulder, and he will have a tightening and sensation on the posterior capsule of the capsule. He will hold it for 30 seconds, and after that, he will leave it and he will repeat it near about 10 to 15 times. The procedure of the protocol of the exercises will be quite same. After the stretching exercises, gradual mobilization exercises is introduced to improve the range of motion for the patients. These are the abduction mobilization exercise in form of wall sliding, or we can introduce finger ladder also, which we have in our department. This is the exercise of external rotation mobilization. The patient claps his hand on the back of the head, and he do this anterior and posterior movement. After the internal rotation, the next emphasis will be on the internal rotation mobilization. Here, the patient can take off a towel also, or his unaffected hand also. He will gradually lift his arm. Suppose my left arm is affected, he will hold it via his unaffected arm and lift as much as possible through his mid back. All these exercises will be repeated at least 15 to 20 times, at least 3 times a day. As a part of a protocol. After improving the range and the pain, the patient is allowed to do some form of strengthening exercises. Strengthening exercises are very important because with pain and with prolonged disuse, the muscles goes for weakness, and if the muscle is not strengthened in an adequate way, the chances of recurrence is more. So after the pain improves and the range of motion improves gradually, the patient is introduced to strengthening exercises. First of all, the patient should do the strengthening of the rotator cuff muscles, mainly emphasis on the supraspinatus and infraspinatus. In this picture, the patient is lying on the floor, his left arm is affected. He will hold a weight of 1 to 2 kilos in form of a dumbbell or a water bottle. He will lie on his tummy, and his hand will be out of the plinth up to the elbow, and in this posture he will do the lifting up and lifting down. By that it will improve his strength of the rotators. Next is strengthening of the shoulder abductors, mainly emphasis on the deltoid and supraspinatus. Here the patient is doing with a TheraBand. If we don't have a TheraBand, we can use the tube of the cycle tire also. We can cut that into a piece. The one half of the tube will be kept under the foot, and the other, with the help of the other end, will gradually lift the arm to abduction. And this creates uniform resistance, and that helps to improve the strength further. Now, managing the acute tennis elbow and requirements disease. When the problem